Carlos Sainz will leave Ferrari. The departure was announced in February when the Prancing Horse let the world know that seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton would be wearing the red suit from the 2025 Formula One season. An unexpected move from Mercedes, made possible by the release clause the British driver requested and obtained in his renewal with the Brackley team for 2 seasons. The Englishman will join Charles Leclerc, the flag bearer of the Maranello team, a dream team that will undoubtedly be envied by the entire paddock. Many have already speculated on this matter. There is a popular theory that Lewis Hamilton will be soundly beaten by the Monegasque driver. Another suggests that the experience and absolute skill of the 7-time F1 world champion will overshadow Charles Leclerc, reducing him to the status of second driver. Either way, it will be a success, as the technical skill driving the Italian cars will be extremely high. Frederic Vasseur, the prodigious French leader, has already stated that no problems will arise and that both Ferrari drivers will fight, perhaps even against each other, but united by the same destiny to take Ferrari as high as possible, a duo made possible by Carlos Sainz making way. The Spaniard will leave Ferrari after 4 seasons, having delivered many strong performances, not counting what might still happen in the remaining 15 races this year. 3 victories so far with the red car: Great Britain 2022, Singapore 2023, and Australia 2024, compared to the 4 secured by Charles Leclerc since they have shared the garage. His performance in some phases of the seasons with the Italian team has been sometimes inconsistent, with dark periods alternating with truly optimal ones. The Spaniard apparently did not fully convince Fred Vasseur. As we know, part of the decision to dispense with his services comes from President John Elkann. The confirmation came during the Monte Carlo celebrations, where Gianni Agnelli's grandson, warmly congratulating the Spaniard, did not receive the same enthusiastic response. On the contrary, Carlos seemed almost uncomfortable. Despite appearing as a tough character, he is actually a very sensitive guy. Those who know him well have revealed this throughout the years. Those who frequent the paddock regularly will have noticed that Carlos Sainz's father, the world champion, who has collected titles in Rally and Dakar, almost always accompanies his son on his travels around the world. The two are very close, and although the Spaniard has an agent representing him, Carlos Honorio, it is not unusual to see the former rally driver in close contact with other teams. This has been the case in recent months, as he has been spotted in Mercedes hospitality to discuss his son. The same with Red Bull, for the same reason. In a driver's career, the figure who follows him contractually is very important, especially if you are not a prodigy and need someone who knows how to sell you in the best way. It affects your professional trajectory in Formula One, as we know how difficult it is to secure and maintain a seat in the top category of motorsport. A few days ago, in Spain, Carlos Sainz was invited to the famous TV show El Hormiguero. During the appearance, they talked about his present and naturally his future. The current Ferrari driver remains highly sought after by various teams. Carlos knows this well, and for this reason, he is in no rush. The decision he will make is important, as he is nearing 30 and still harbors a desire to become an F1 world champion. Sainz says that his options are varied, and at the moment he prefers to focus on the SF24, a car that gives him the possibility of winning races. For this reason, there is no rush regarding his future. There is also an interesting fact that the Spaniard reveals. It concerns how the Italian team decided to dispense with his services. Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, once he left Mercedes, wanted to go to Ferrari, which, without thinking twice, made room for him. This is the backstory of how the Ferrari team left Carlos out. The Spaniard suffered. No one likes being sidelined. However, Carlos Sainz tried to take it philosophically. Hence, he sees the non-renewal as an opportunity for his future, in which he intends to join a team that offers him the chance to fight for the Formula One world title. For now, his most likely destination is Williams. Carlos Sainz and Williams, 2 souls that could therefore meet. Sometimes a time machine would be needed to show, especially to the younger audience, how important the name of the Grove team is in Formula One and what it has represented for long periods in terms of technological innovation and success. In 2020, the Williams family decided to sell the team to the American investment fund Doralton Capital, which has so far shown deep respect for the historical value of the team, preserving its identity and operational base in the UK. Essentially, this did not turn out like what happened to the equally glorious Tyrrell team, which quickly became BAR, Honda, and Braun GP, until becoming Mercedes. The Williams brand is not just a sticker on English single-seaters. The American ownership, in fact, has shown the intention to bring the team from the bottom of the grid to the levels it deserves. In this scenario fits the hiring of James Vowles, who left his previous position at Mercedes to join the British project just over a year ago. According to the English engineer, his move to the historic team founded by Sir Frank was not due to the higher responsibility, but to the team's ambitious medium to long-term program. Since his arrival at Williams, the 9-time world champion team has gone from being the Cinderella of the grid to almost a regular presence in the midfield. The start of this season has been less brilliant compared to the last campaign, but the updates seem to be working, and since Monaco, Thai driver Alexander Albon has been showing he can consistently fight in the top 10. The former chief strategist of the Brackley team has identified the need to shift focus from immediate results to mere medium to long-term planning, specifically the regulatory revolution that awaits F1 in the 2026 season. James Vowles is carrying out a cultural transformation within the team. His goal is to instill an innovative and winning mentality, similar to the approach that led Mercedes in past years to undertake a fruitful path that can revive the team's fortunes and return to the top of the rankings. A mentality that is probably convincing Carlos Sainz to accept Williams' offer, although the Spaniard from Ferrari flatly denied it last week. It might be a downgrade for the Spanish driver who will hardly be able to aim for success immediately. However, the Spaniard could be the perfect man for the historic English team, as he has always appreciated his analytical skills and composure, even in the worst moments. At his side would be Alexander Albon, who has extended his existing contract. James Vowles no longer hides his interest in the Spanish driver. On the contrary, the former Mercedes technician explains that he is the #1 target for the seat that will, in fact, be left vacant by the American Logan Sargent. The English manager is confident that the team is ready to manage two of the best drivers on the grid and would like to project the team into a new era, where the great economic investments so far sustained by the American ownership can undoubtedly bring the team back to its former glory. If the American Investment Fund has convinced Vowles through the business plan of the F1 program, in turn, the arrival of a top driver like Carlos Sainz is certainly facilitated by the few opportunities left for the Spaniard, but also by technical guarantees that the English manager has provided to the son of the 2-time World Rally champion. The Williams team principal revealed that the staff will be strengthened by the arrival of high-level technicians, as a logical consequence of the hard work done in the last 12 months. The engineer from Felbridge proudly claims the performance leap of the team he currently leads, which, by his own admission, after a really complicated period, is no longer a team fighting to avoid the last positions. On the contrary, according to James Vowles, it is a rising team capable of attracting the interest of drivers and technicians who, until a few months ago, would have refused any kind of offer from Williams. We are waiting to see what will happen. It is certain that Carlos Sainz would be an important first step towards rebirth.